Everybody, there are multiple stages that happen to a victim when they're sexually abused by the priest in the church or by anybody in the church, but especially the priest. One of the first things your mind and your body does is say, this isn't true, it didn't happen. It's a natural denial to protect you until you're ready to handle what happened. And this is why some of these memories, if it happened to you years and years ago and you can just face it now, it's because your body can only process something and allow it into your mind when you are ready to handle it. And some things like that are so beyond fathom and so heinous that your mind just says no for a long time. But it comes out of you in another way because your behavior changes, your attitude changes, you're depressed, you're unable to cope. And so while you might not even be able to connect to it, it's outwardly coming out of you a different way. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people tend to say, you didn't say it right away, you didn't go to the police, you didn't this, you didn't that, because they can't allow that thought into their mind at the time. And so the first thing they do is doubt. The other thing is you must be so careful of who you tell. Denial is one of the biggest tools and mechanisms that there is, and it's everywhere. It's in all over society, and it's not just in this, but when it's personally happening to you and you need to be heard and you go tell the wrong person and they flip out and they don't believe you and they alienate you and they don't give you the right response, you become more broken. So in healing, I urge people to really consider who they tell and what they do. Because most of the times that you're victimized, it's you and the perpetrator. And it's not like you went there with your cell phone catching it all on camera. It happened when they victimized you, and most likely there weren't even witnesses. It's just you and them. And then to come forward or go to the hospital or tell, you have to re-humiliate yourself by saying who did it. And it's such a huge violation that most victims stay silent. Family sometimes is the worst place to go. Sometimes it isn't. It's all a judgment call of who you know and how much support you have and who will unconditionally listen to your truth. The reality is that the most thing that matters out of the whole thing is justice for yourself. So to get justice, you're going to go through emotions like, I want to tell, I want that person in jail, I want that person to die, I want the same thing to happen to them. Those are all natural phases of the pain and your body releasing the violation. The wrong thing to do is to do anything yourself, because then they have taken you from the victim position to becoming the perpetrator and the retaliating, and then you might get caught when they never got caught. And when they go, why did you go after that person? Then you're going to try and tell your story, and they go, but you never filed a report, you never said anything, there's something else, and you won't be believed. The thing to do is to take your emotions and mourn. Mourn for your innocence. Mourn for the fact that this happened. Mourn for your virginity. Mourn for every dream that you had being shattered in a half an hour. All your beliefs, and mourn until you're done. And this may be something that you do for the rest of your life, and that's okay. Getting past something doesn't mean you don't have days where you must release what you feel. The worst thing about teaching a man not to feel is to teach him not to feel pain, because everybody does. And if you don't have a good release for your pain, it's going to be self-sabotage that you do to yourself. And you're entitled to every single emotion and should have it and feel it and live it out. A lot of this is done solo. When I made the first video and I talked about my boss sexually harassing me, this went on for 2 years, everybody. So when you're in your 20s, 365 days times 2 is a lifetime, because you're going into work trying to be this diligent, good person and get a paycheck, and you have a whole life in the dream. And here I was, like I said, in this prestigious job, very high paying, and I have this boss threatening me every day, and I was a virgin, because back in those days we were. And I was terrorized to think of this icky pig as my first attack on me. And he was so gross and graphic about it. And he was a married man with a family that did cocaine at lunch. And it took me a long time to figure out that the girls that were after him that did have sex with him were trading cocaine. And of course, a 20-year-old, I could get cocaine if I wanted anywhere. I didn't have to sleep with a 45-year-old man with a family. But the terror that was inside me built up, built up, built up, built up. When this happens to you in the priesthood, sometimes you don't even have a warning. But the after effect is going to be that buildup of, what do you do? What do you do? I'm going to explode. Here I am trying to go to church and learn and become a priest or be part of the church. And I have to hide this big secret. So the saying, you're only as sick as your secrets, is real. But choosing to keep it a secret for your benefit in your survival is self-awareness, and it's your right to save yourself if that's what you need to do, and handle it without telling people. When they're saying about being as sick as your secrets, it's like, being a drug addict but hiding it from the world. If you have to hide a violation to keep it to yourself in order to keep you whole and figure out who to be and what to do, that is your right and your option. I had to keep mine a secret and leave. And so the real secret is, you idiot, you don't get me. I don't care what else you do, but I'm gone. And I'm not going to be your victim. And so I kept my secret and didn't tell anybody, but I didn't live in that awful space where he kept doing it. It just finally built up to the day where he said, it's tomorrow. I'm throwing you on the desk and we're having sex. And I'm like, I'm not coming in. So I called in and quit over the phone of this amazing, prestigious company, and nobody left this company. So people thought something was wrong and they knew something was wrong, but I never told. So it wasn't a secret that I was letting myself live within. I walked away from it and just chose not to tell until I was ready. And it was 27 years later when I explained what happened. So a lot of times you can change a church, you can go to a different place and not say anything, you can stay there and just stand up for yourself and not let yourself be victimized again, which is another victory that you can have, that you can be like, you got me once, stay away from me, and you're not messing in my dream, I'm still here, get away from me. So each person has to decide what to do after this happens. But I can't emphasize enough, and I said it in the first video, this does not, it derails you from beliefs for a moment. But one person cannot take down a church. Behind the person that violated you is still the religion. It's still the belief that in that religion, the good things are there, that you must find yourself without listening to them out of the mouth of a liar that's violating people. But you still can believe in the church and just like anything, there's bad people in grade school, there's bad people at the playground. They don't own the playground, they just try to wreck it. So when someone is a violator and they're a perpetrator, they want to be so selfish that they think they own the religion and they can control it by their desires and their needs and their brokenness. And in reality, you win because the religion stands behind that bad leader and that bad perpetrator, and you still get to go back and take the parts of the religion, and there's healing things in the Bible even for perpetrators and violators, and those are meant for you. And anybody can wear a mask and a disguise, including a priest's robe. And so don't let them take away the power of your dream or let you feel like you permanently can't become anything because they shattered your beliefs. You need to rise above it, feel your emotions and pain, let yourself mourn, and then dust off, steal your own life back and your right, and walk right over them and say, you're a bad representative of what I believe in, and I'm going this way, or this way, but get out of my way. And that's how you get to heal, is to go through every single phase of what happens. And it may take you weeks, months, or years to recover. But when you're ready, you become whole, and you get to say, that did not define me. I am this, and go that way. And the most giving, loving thing that you can do for yourself is to be true to your grief, so that you have empathy because you've been victimized, and you can use it to have compassion for other people that have been victimized, and you can still lead. And like I said, you walk right over that perpetrator. And when I really believe everything happens for a reason, it's even true for bad things. It really is. And I've had more bad things in my life than I could count. But I still love my life, and I still love who I am to my core. And all the bad things from blackmail and betrayal and everything that have happened to me have never changed who I am. And this same truth is true for you. And that's why I want to help. And these videos are for all of you. And just continue to own your own identity. It is not defined by a single incident, no matter how vile it is. Your right is to live past that in a beautiful way and take your journey where you know you belong. Thank you.